How was what?
The interview.
Oh, it was really great. Like, I got hired on the spot.
That's awesome. You know, you really deserve that.
Thank you. And I'm just super excited about doing something that I love, you know?
And you said this is your like first real job, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna look good on my resume later. Like, I'm so excited to start. But anyway, how was your day? How did your day go?
I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't the best.
Why? What happened?
Oh, well, so, okay, there's this customer in line. Well, okay, wait a minute. I believe, all right, customer service is one of the most important skills anyone can have. You know, I think when someone gets mad, well, you know, everybody should learn how to just control their emotions.
Yeah, but like, what if something
Okay, hold on,
goes?
hold on. So this customer comes in line, all right, her order is wrong. I'm not even the one that gave her order or made her order, all right, but she comes and starts complaining to me and throws her food at me. Just, my clothes are now dirty. It's all over the place.
What did you do about that?
Nothing. Nothing. I fixed her order. I went home. I changed. I went back. And then my manager said it's coming out of my paycheck because that's a waste of food.
Wow. But like, what if she was having a bad day and, you know, food makes everyone happy and y'all went and got her order wrong?
That doesn't excuse what she did.
Well, you do work at a fast food restaurant. You know how that goes. How about you just quit and, you know, go get another job?
Oh, sorry, Zaria. You know, I forgot how easy it is for someone specifically like you. You know, rich kids, new car, great grades.
I mean, wow. Where did that come from? I'm sitting here trying to help you out because you're having problems at your job, and here you go, blaming me.
You know, it just doesn't feel like you're trying to help out. You just have such a perfect life.
Nah, you're not gonna keep talking to me like this because I work super hard for where I got.
You know, yeah, you're right. All right? It's my fault. I have a bad attitude, and I'm genuinely sorry about that.
Well, I'm gonna accept your apology for now.
Can you do me a favor and grab me that water there?
Yeah, I got you.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bearkat Crazy Questions. I'm your host Alyssa and this is...
I'm Stacy.
And we are so ready to answer any of the questions you may have for us. Oh, here we go. Hello, thank you for calling in. What is your question? All right, thank you so much.
So who was that?
It was our first caller with their questions.
And what'd they ask?
So our first question is, if you were to bring 3 food items onto a deserted island with you, what would you bring?
Do we have fishing material?
I would be assuming you would have to make your own if it were on a desert island.
Okay. Well, if we did have our own and we're stranded on a desert island, we're right by water, so why not get some fish, get some crab, some lobster?
I think the question was more so if you could bring anything with you, any food you would have to bring yourself that wasn't already provided.
I would bring clam chowder. I would not bring pizza because I guess it's gonna get cold and nobody likes cold pizza, at least not always. Clam chowder, I don't know, that's a really tough one. What are your 3? Maybe.
I think first of all, I would bring water. I cannot drink salt water, neither can
That's
you or
smart.
anyone unless you want to get extremely dehydrated. Water, maybe some fresh fruits so I don't get any diseases from any unwashed fruit. I I'm not too sure about the third one though. Maybe some kind of pasta. I love pasta, so I don't think I can live without it.
How would you cook the pasta?
That's a great question. Water, man-made fire. Sizzle it up in there. That's how I make it.
Right, right. I see. I'll still stick with the chowder. Maybe some bananas. You got to keep up the energy. It's a great potassium source. And, well, at least we got a man-made fire. Maybe we can fry some chicken or bake or some chicken.
Would you bring any with you?
I would,
You
if
would?
I could.
All right. Well, that was our first question. Second one.
We got another caller.
Hello, thank you for calling in. All right, thank you so much.
All right, what's our second question?
Ooh, I like this one. So our second question is, if you were to bring an animated character with you in a zombie apocalypse, who would you have as your sidekick?
Good question, because there's so many I would pick from. I don't know if I would pick from a specific cartoon, but I would pick Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil, because he's always dealt with zombies anyway. He's very experienced with that.
I don't really play video games, but I guess if I were to bring a video game character, I would bring Kirby, mainly because that's the only video character I actually know. And I know Kirby likes to eat things up. So I think Kirby could definitely eat up some zombies
Eat up
for
the
me.
zombies.
Any actual character? I think probably like Phineas or Ferb from Phineas and Ferb. Because they can build me something. Maybe a roller coaster to get over all the zombies.
If I had to actually pick from an actual show cartoon, I would pick Buzz Lightyear.
Any
he can-
reason why?
Because he has that laser he can shoot. You know, the pew, pew.
I think the toy lasers would definitely get rid of zombies.
I think we got another call.
Hello, thank you for calling in. All right, thank you so much.
So next question.
Our next question is, if you were to name the soundtrack of your life, what would you name it?
Name the soundtrack of my life? Like name my own song?
More like the playlist of your life. You have a list of songs. What would you call that playlist?
Like what I call that playlist? I would call it Day in the Life of Stacy.
I like it. I think at this moment of time, right now in my life, I would just have question marks. Because I'm not too sure where we're going with it. But, you know, it was some great questions today. So
Yeah, they were.
thank you so much for calling in. And thank you so much for calling in. And I can't wait to hear any questions next time.
It comes as no surprise that for centuries the night sky has mesmerized, prompting a popular song and distinctive reactive clap from any native Texan. The early days of manned spaceflight, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy sought out Texas's bright potential for the future of all mankind. For decades, Johnson Space Center, serving as mission control, has been a grounding force for a myriad of interstellar travelers. The stars at night are not all that is big and bright in the Lone Star State. Many discoveries have been made, prompting endless endeavors as curiosity leads some of the most innovative minds to persevere at the cusp of human ingenuity, aiming to set foot on the red planet.
One giant leap for mankind.
February 1st, I took the picture that kind of made me famous with a Canon D60, which was a 6-megapixel digital SLR camera, and it was one of the early models of DSLRs to be available, and really the first one at 6 megapixel. Up until then, the few DSLRs that were out were 3 to 4 megapixel. This was the first one at 6, and I had only had it a couple of months when we took this photo. I've been an avid follower of the space program since I was a kid, and we had seen a previous re-entry of the space shuttle when it comes in over the United States, really over here in the backyard one evening, and that was a spectacular sight. It was in twilight, and it left a green ion trail as it streaked across the sky. Well, I knew this one was also likely going to re-enter over the continental United States instead of through the Gulf of Mexico to Florida, and so the night before the expected return, I had been logged on to one of the NASA websites that show you the plots of the landing, and I knew that if they made the approach for a 9:15 landing in Florida, that would probably put them right over our house at about 8 a.m. We knew the track. I knew pretty much that they were going to fly over Dallas and Tyler, and so we were in the backyard awaiting re-entry. An hour earlier, they had done their deorbit burn, and so we knew they were committed to coming in on that orbit, and so just a little before 8 o'clock in the morning, we went in the backyard with a video camera and our digital SLR and waited for the arrival. Cameras are much more sophisticated. Just as when I took that picture, the iPhone didn't exist. The features that are in my current cameras didn't exist in that one. The D60 was a relatively large camera for its time in terms of the megapixel, but it's basically the same size as your little camera that you're shooting this with now. The lenses I used at that time were relatively slow. The lenses I have now are far brighter and sharper and much faster than the lenses I had at that time. And the camera has 3 times as many megapixels with a much higher resolution on each megapixel at that too, with more autofocus points and more ability to track moving objects and shoot them in focus. I grew up with a little bit of a news background. I went to a media-oriented high school. I was active in yearbook and the school paper when I was in college. And so I understood that this was an important image. These were people that were important to me, and I felt if they were important to me, they'd be important to other people. I thought this news story was of international in scope, and I really felt the picture needed to be released to the media. And so right after we realized what had happened and what images we had, we were in contact with both the local TV stations and the local newspaper. Immediately went up there to upload the videotape as well as the digital stills. When I was shooting the picture through the camera and looking through the long lens, the image itself was still just really a point of light. These croppings of the pictures that are in the various papers and on the cover of Time are a very significant cropping of the overall image, even out of that 6 megapixel camera. And I'm looking at basically this very bright fireball. My wife, on the other hand, is looking at a LCD screen like your video camera has right there. And so she's seeing a little bit more of a zoomed in image that's also not quite as bright. And she saw separate fragments, much quicker than I did. And when she saw those fragments, she actually states, "Why does it look like it's breaking up?" And I'm not quite sure I knew what she was talking about at that moment. I mean, I thought I saw some parallel contrails, which is what she was talking to, but I didn't see the details she initially did. So it wasn't until 2 or 3 minutes later we had come in the house that I looked at the back of the camera and started cropping in the images that I realized we had captured up the breakup of the shuttle. And I recognized it as that because I had seen other spacecraft images that burned up on reentry, like when the Skylab had burnt up over the Pacific and the photographs of that. And this was exactly the same thing. There were hundreds of fragments basically flying off in mostly parallel, but a few non-parallel linear directions. And I knew that it had been a disruption of the vehicle because that was definitely nothing that would have been expected at this point in the flight on re-entry. I developed a hole in the pit of my stomach, and I knew that that was not a survivable incident. About 4 minutes after the shuttle disintegrated here, we heard this giant envelope of sound, which was the multiple sonic booms of all of the different fragments of the shuttle disintegrating and slowing down under the speed of sound. And as each of those pieces slowed down, they created their own boom. And so it created a very long sound, not just the sharp thud-thud that you typically hear of breaking the sonic boom, but this giant envelope of noise. And that's what most people heard. Most people didn't know anything had happened until they heard that noise, and then they looked up and just saw the smoke. By then, it had already been 5 or 6 minutes since the shuttle had gone by and actually wrecked.
The picture that we've been showing you all morning long is the final moments of the Space Shuttle Columbia as it broke up mid-flight, 200,000 feet, traveling 12,500 miles an hour.
At that moment, I felt my first duty was to get these images to the news services. We very quickly made the phone calls at that time and let them know that what had happened and what we'd had. The television crews that were covering reentry were still talking about the fact that the shuttle was running late. And the shuttle doesn't run late. It lands plus or minus 3 seconds on that tarmac. And the fact that it was running late was a clear indication that they didn't quite yet know what had happened, even on the national news circuit. Within an hour of this incident, the Associated Press was moving that image out on their wire to newspapers all over the world. Within 24 hours, 2.4 billion people had seen these images through the various outlets of the Associated Press, either in the newspaper covers, on websites, on news media websites that were around even then. The image is one of the most seen images in a single news cycle. While I was technically a citizen journalist, the distribution of the image was very much through traditional media. The Tyler Morning Telegraph front page actually was put on display in the Library of Congress in the Thomas Jefferson Annex for a while. The Time cover is in the memorial display at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington. I have done showings both in galleries in Los Angeles and in the Tyler Museum of Art. I did a show of a lot of my work. And then I've had some individual pictures in other galleries from time to time. I came to Texas approximately 27 years ago. I was recruited here out of my training program in New York City, where I was born and raised. At that time, they needed more interventional cardiology here in Tyler, and my eventual partners recruited me to come down here, and we brought our family, and I brought my sister's family down here, and we've all been working in the local health scene pretty much ever since. Interventional cardiology is my primary job. I kind of refer to photojournalism as an avocation, because I'm told it's a hobby until they pay you, and then it becomes an avocation. And clearly this has become more than a hobby. I've got well over 1,000 images in the AP archive now. It only goes a few days where some picture doesn't get pulled out of the archive and used in a newspaper somewhere in the world. Now, I've also managed to use my photography to sort of get closer to other hobbies. For the Associated Press, I have been in the pits of NASCAR. I've been alongside the track in Formula One. I have been on the sidelines with the Dallas Cowboys and photographed games from that position and that vantage point. It's always a learning experience, and it's always a lot of fun to do that.
My fellow Americans, this day has brought terrible news and great sadness to our country. At 9 o'clock this morning, Mission Control in Houston lost contact with our space shuttle Columbia. A short time later, debris was seen falling from the skies above Texas. The Columbia is lost. There are no survivors. On board was a crew of 7. Colonel Rick Husband, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Anderson, Commander Laurel Clark, Captain David Brown, Commander William McCool, Dr. Kulbna Shavla, and Ilan Ramon, a colonel in the Israeli Air Force. These men and women assumed great risk in the service to all humanity. In an age when space flight has come to seem almost routine, it is easy to overlook the dangers of travel by rocket and the difficulties of navigating the fierce outer atmosphere of the Earth. The crew of the shuttle Columbia did not return safely to Earth, yet we can pray that all are safely home. May God bless the grieving families. May God continue to bless America.
I feel like if I should be over there. What's going on, y'all? My name's Nay. This is Ayana, and welcome back to the Vibe Room. Today, we are going to be talking about Doctor Strange. Ayana, what are your thoughts on Doctor Strange?
I think he's got awesome magic powers.
Yeah? Have you seen the trailer for the new movie?
I have.
Yeah? What were the first thoughts, the vibes, if you will?
Well, the vibes were immaculate, pretty much.
Yeah?
Like always, because it's Marvel.
Yeah.
But honestly, it just looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, but every time I see a Marvel trailer, it just looks so shiny and like,
Right?
I don't know, clear.
Yeah, I can feel that. Did you have a chance to see the Spider-Man movie that just came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Oh,
How did it
good.
feel? It was really good.
Clear. I don't know.
Clear, just pure 2020. Vision, not the year. That was tragic. We don't want to go back there.
And like, I just wanted the colors are really vibrant.
Yeah. How about the color blue? How do we feel about the color blue?
I like navy.
Navy? Like the branch or the color? No, I'm kidding.
Okay. The navy, the color.
The color? My favorite color growing up was always royal blue.
That's
Yeah.
a good color.
It's if you like look up color meanings or whatever, I think it's the royal blue is the color that means loyalty.
Oh.
And weirdly enough, in all of the schools I've ever been to, royal blue is always one of the colors of the mascots.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was pretty
Until
cool.
here.
That is true. When I came here, I think it was like a weird navy color. I don't know how we got here,
Right.
but
It's okay.
here we are.
My high school colors were crimson, navy, and white, which is a take of red, white, and blue.
Nice,
So,
nice. That's cool. What made you want to go to Sam?
it was close. Honestly, Sam wasn't my first choice. I wanted to go to UNT, but now that I'm here, I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
There's good teachers here and like good networking stuff here. So, and plus it's close to Houston. So, if we
Yeah.
do like have trouble with like networking or finding jobs here, Houston is just right there.
Right there, yeah.
What about you?
I actually went to a junior college my freshman year
What is
for
that?
basketball.
Wait, so like Lone Star?
No. I went to a school called Ranger College. It's like 7.5 hours away.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, not for me anymore. And then I transferred. I was going to go to Texas State, but then my mom graduated from here and my sister graduated from here. So I was like, might
Legacy.
as well. Yeah, big legacy. I was like, might as well. And so I just transferred here. I was originally an accounting major.
Ew.
Don't know how we got here. But I switched from accounting to marketing to computer information systems, and now we're here.
What?
Yeah.
Why? What made you? Okay, so how long did it take you to realize that you didn't even want to do anything like STEM related?
It took a while. I switched my major. My freshman year when I was at the JUCO, I was an accounting major, and then, or I wanted to go into accounting is what I should say, because I was taking my basics at that point. But then I transferred to Sam, started as an accounting major, and then I transferred from the accounting major. I was like, you know what, my sister's graduated with computer information systems, so I'm gonna do the same thing. And then I was like, not for me. And then I was like, maybe marketing. And then I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, I like cameras. I like telling stories. This could be cool.
Right.
And my mom was like, you're not gonna make no kind of money. I was like,
That's what
listen,
they all say.
Jackie, calm down. Let me live my life. Don't tell me what to do. Well, I didn't say that. She's my mother.
Right.
But, you know, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
But yeah, she was like, I mean, it's fine, I guess, if you think you can do something with it. And I was like, okay.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm going to transfer my major. And here I am. And
That's good.
here I am.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually never switched my major once. Like
Yeah.
I applied to the BFA like the July before starting, and I don't know. I've stayed.
Nice.
Well, that's because in high school I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was just like taking classes. But
Cool.
as I got older, I was like, this is what
Yeah.
I want, so I'm gonna stick with it.
Well, that's awesome. We talked about a couple of different things, which is fun, but we should be back soon. So hope you guys like this segment of the Vibe Room, and hope to see you back.
What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite geeky scarecrow, Tyler Heath here, and welcome to Cat Geek. Today, our topic will be love interests in superheroes and whether or not they contribute to the story. So, for this topic, I wanted to go with somebody who's had a numerous amount of love interests. That would be Spider-Man. Spider-Man's main three love interests have always been either Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane Watson, or my personal favorite, the Black Cat. And each one of them serves their own purpose. Gwen Stacy was Spider-Man's very first. And so she kind of helped shape or mold him into the superhero that he eventually became. Now, Mary Jane Watson is the typical girl next door, the one that, everybody seems to know about because she's the most popular. But what exactly does she contribute to the story other than, the girl that Spider-Man goes for? Now, the reason I choose the Black Cat is because she challenges Spider-Man more than any of the other ones. And here's why I say this. Both Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane Watson love Peter Parker. Well, and that's not a bad thing. But Black Cat has gone on record saying that she loves Spider-Man. And for that reason, I believe Black Cat is the best because in the comic books, it has been on record saying Spider-Man going, "She loves me as Spider-Man, and I am never more myself than when I wear this mask. So she loves me, for who I truly am." And that helps bring him out of his shell and in turn allows him to, be a better superhero because he has somebody there to guide him in his full potential. And at the same time, Spider-Man is actually able to keep her a little level-headed, a little grounded, and keep her from a life of crime. So their relationship is the better one, in my personal opinion, because they both contribute to it, rather than, Spider-Man contributing to the whole thing with Mary Jane Watson or Gwen Stacy contributing to the whole thing to make him better. Black Cat, again, it's a cohesive relationship, in my personal opinion, because, again, they both benefit from it. And if you're able to benefit from that beautiful relationship, it helps contribute to a better story, having a partner there to watch your back instead of, just getting your tail slung all around New York City. So, I'm sure there are many fans out there who will quite disagree with me on that subject, but, that's the beauty of comic book relationships and love interests. Everybody has their own opinion, and none of them are wrong. Everyone has their own merit. Every single one of them has, true meaning to who they are and to their characters. So I truly believe that, while I believe Black Cat and Spider-Man are the perfect couple for that relationship, you can make an argument for one of the other two, or the numerous other relationships Spider-Man has had because, Spider-Man gets around. Whatever your opinion is, you're not wrong. That is the beauty of being a comic book fan. You can put yourself in that situation. You can decide for yourself which is better. And that's all the time we have right now, ladies and gentlemen. For Cat Geek, once again, my name is Tyler Heath. Remember, if there's not something wrong with you, there's something wrong with you. Good night.